What if I told you that staying confident in English conversations isn't just about learning vocabulary? It's about keeping up with how English evolves, especially in today's fast changing world. Here's what I mean. Have you ever felt stuck when someone uses a word you've never heard before, like ghosting or binge watching? Maybe you've wondered, should I ask what that means or will it make me seem unsure? Or maybe you've decided to stay quiet, not wanting to interrupt or risk saying the wrong thing. The truth is, I've been there too. In fact, recently in a meeting, one of my team members mentioned feeling JOMO, and I froze. Did she mean FOMO, the fear of missing out, or was this something new? Honestly, I thought she had made a mistake, and it turns out I was wrong. I discovered JOMO stands for the joy of missing out, the perfect opposite of FOMO. And in that moment, I realized just how fast English evolves. Even as a native speaker, I'm constantly learning how to keep up. Here's the thing: English isn't just a language, it's a moving target. Words are constantly being added or reshaped by technology, culture, and global events. And that's why we're diving into 6 categories of modern English vocabulary that reflect how our world and the way we talk about it has changed in the last 25 years. In this lesson today, we'll cover the internet's new language, words that describe how we live online today, social media trends like how ghost, the soul or spirit of someone no longer living, evolved into ghosting in dating and even the workplace. We'll also talk about the language of global change, words shaped by climate, technology, and more. By the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly what these terms mean, how to use them confidently, and how they can help you express yourself in English. Now, before we continue, I've got a quick note for you. You do not need to master all of these words today. Take your time and focus on what feels most relevant to your life right now or the conversations that you're having in English right now. Every word you learn is a step toward more confident conversations in English. Also, throughout this lesson today, I'll share a few of my personal favorite words, ones that I've recently learned or find fascinating. Stick with me to find out which ones they are and why they stand out. With that in mind, let's dive right into category number 1, the internet's new language. There's no question that the internet has transformed how we communicate. It has created entirely new words to describe the opportunities and the challenges of the digital world. Today, I want to share 5 internet related terms you're likely to hear in conversations about online experiences. The first one, deep fake. A deep fake is a realistic but fake video or image, often created with AI or artificial intelligence. It looks so convincing that it's hard to tell it isn't real. For example, be careful sharing that video. I heard it might be a deep fake. Or a deep fake might show a celebrity saying something they actually never said. Deep fakes are becoming more common, so knowing this word is important when talking about online safety and misinformation. Next on this list is filter bubble. A filter bubble happens when people only see information that matches their beliefs, usually because of algorithms on social media or search engines. For example, I try to follow different news sources to avoid staying in a filter bubble. You might notice this when your social media feed only shows you opinions you agree with. Filter bubbles can feel comfortable, but they also limit your perspective. Number 3 in this category, clickbait. It's another word that you've probably come across. It refers to exaggerated or misleading headlines designed to get you to do one thing, to click on the title to read more. For example, the headline was just clickbait. The actual news wasn't that dramatic. I'm curious, have you ever fallen for clickbait? It's so frustrating, but also common. This term is essential for English conversations about online media and trust. Now, let's talk about ghosting. I mentioned this term at the start of this lesson. Ghosting comes from online communication, especially dating apps. It originally described someone who suddenly stops responding in a digital exchange, like a text message exchange. Over time, ghosting has expanded beyond dating and is now used in professional and social contexts. For example, after 2 interviews, the company ghosted me. No response at all. Or, it's frustrating when clients ghost you after asking for a proposal. The evolution of this word highlights how internet driven terms often spill into other areas of life and become part of everyday language. And finally, let's talk about phishing. Phishing describes scams designed to steal your personal information, often through fake emails or websites. For example, our IT team warned us about new phishing emails. When it comes to phishing, here's a tip. Always double check links and emails before clicking to avoid phishing scams. This term is key when discussing online security. Now, the internet doesn't just influence how we talk about technology, it has also shaped the way we connect with each other socially. So, let's dive into some exciting new terms born from our interactions on social media. Social media is interesting because it has created this global playground for new ideas, emotions, and behaviors, and along with it, a whole new vocabulary. So let's explore 5 social media inspired terms you might hear in conversations about online culture. The first one, influencer. An influencer is someone who promotes products or services to their followers on social media. Influencers often have a strong personal brand and a loyal audience. For example, the company partnered with local influencers to promote their new cafe. This word is the key to understanding how social media drives trends and consumer behavior today. Next, we have this acronym, ICYMI, which stands for In Case You Missed It. You'll often see this in social media posts or in emails to bring attention to something that's already been shared. For example, you'll see this acronym ICYMI. Here's the link to tomorrow's team meeting. In short, it's short, practical, and perfect for catching up on important updates. And now, let's talk about JOMO, the joy of missing out. This term, as I said, is the total opposite of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. JOMO means finding contentment in saying no to activities that don't align with your priorities. For example, imagine choosing to stay home on a Friday night with a good book instead of feeling guilty for missing a party. That's JOMO. It's all about celebrating intentional choices that prioritize your well being. Main character energy is next, and it's one of the most empowering terms on this list. It's also one of my new favorites. It's about having the confidence to feel like the star of your own life. Think of the main character in a movie. They stand out, make decisions, and lead the way. For example, she gave her presentation with such main character energy. Everyone was paying attention. This phrase encourages confidence, but it's also a reminder to let others shine as well. And finally, let's talk about troll. A troll is someone who posts inflammatory or upsetting comments online just to provoke others. We use this in sentences like, it's best to ignore the trolls in the comment section. Trolls can make online spaces feel negative, but the best response is to usually not engage at all. The words we've explored so far are a great start to boosting your English confidence in modern conversations. But learning new words is just one part of the journey. If you sometimes struggle to find the right words to express yourself or feel confident while speaking English, I want you to download my free training called How to Get the Confidence to Say What You Want in English. It's designed to help you take that next step to feel more comfortable, clear, and confident in every conversation. You can find the link to sign up and get that free download in the description below. And now let's dive into some tech focused vocabulary that's shaping the way we live and work. So far, we've explored some fascinating terms, but one of my all time favorites is coming up in the next section. But first, let's talk about how technology has reshaped how we live and work, introducing cutting edge advancements that are now part of everyday life. Here are 5 terms you'll often hear in conversations about tech, terms that help describe the innovations shaping our world today. First on the list, artificial intelligence, of course. AI is technology that simulates human thinking and problem solving. It's everywhere, from virtual assistants like Siri to recommendation algorithms on streaming platforms like Netflix. For example, many companies now use AI chatbots to answer basic customer questions. There's no question AI is one of the most important developments in tech today. And knowing this term, understanding how to talk about it, will help you join conversations about innovation in the workplace and beyond. Now, if you want to learn more vocabulary related to this topic of artificial intelligence, I've got a whole lesson on that topic, and I'll share a link in the notes below. Next is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is digital currency maintained by a decentralized system. In other words, no banks, just technology. Bitcoin is one of the most well known cryptocurrencies. And here's how you might hear it in a sentence. Have you heard about companies accepting cryptocurrency as payment? This term is especially relevant in discussions about finance, tech, and the future of money. Next, metaverse. The metaverse combines virtual reality and social networking, creating a space where people can interact as if they're in the same room without actually being there. Think of it as the internet you can walk through. For example, some companies now hold meetings in the metaverse where everyone appears as avatars. It's a fascinating concept that blends technology and connection, making it a popular topic in discussions about the future of work. The next word in this category is prompt, a term very closely tied to artificial intelligence. A prompt is an instruction you give to an AI program to generate a response. The better your prompt, the more accurate and useful the AI's answer will be. This term, prompt, is essential for anyone exploring AI tools, whether for work, personal use, or creative projects. And finally, let's talk about streaming services. A streaming service is a platform for delivering video, music, or other online content. Instead of downloading, you can watch or listen instantly, wherever you are. I have a question for you. Which streaming service do you use to watch your favorite shows? Netflix? Hulu? Streaming services are definitely part of everyday life now, making this a must know term for conversations about entertainment and media. Moving on to category 4, modern relationships. Technology hasn't just reshaped how we work, it also has changed how we connect with others and describe those relationships. So let's take a look at several terms that reflect how relationships are evolving in our modern world. The first on our list here is beige flag. Of all the words in this lesson today, this one is the newest for me and I just love it. Now, I'm going to explain why in a moment, but first we have to take a step back and understand another common term, a red flag. When we are describing someone else's behavior that we see as threatening or potentially damaging to us in some way, we might describe it as a red flag. A beige flag is a bit different. It refers to quirky but harmless behaviors in relationships. These are those little habits or preferences that may seem unusual, but they're not a deal breaker. For example, his habit of sending email reminders for everything is definitely a beige flag. Without a doubt, beige flags can spark conversations and even add humor in relationships. Next is cancel culture. Cancel culture describes when people withdraw support from someone due to controversial actions or statements. It often sparks debates about accountability versus forgiveness. This term is widely used in discussions on ethics, media, and social responsibility. Number three in this category is parasocial. A parasocial relationship is a one sided emotional connection with a public figure, like an influencer or celebrity. You might feel like you know them, but they don't know you. For example, it's easy to develop parasocial relationships with YouTubers or influencers we watch regularly. These relationships are definitely common in today's social media and media landscape, and they show how deeply we connect with public figures through technology. And now I want to go back to a term we touched on earlier: ghosting. As I mentioned, this term is rooted in online communication, but it's especially relevant in relationships. Ghosting describes the act of suddenly stopping all communication without explanation. It's often associated with romantic or dating contexts, but it's also used in friendships and professional exchanges. For example, I thought things were going well, but then he ghosted me. No calls, no texts, nothing. This term highlights how technology has influenced the way relationships end, or sometimes just fade away. Of course, modern relationships don't just involve people. Our connection with the planet is evolving too. So let's explore some words tied to climate and sustainability. As our environmental awareness grows, so does our need for new words to describe the emotions and strategies shaping sustainability. So today we'll look at three terms that capture the challenges and opportunities of addressing climate change. First, eco anxiety. This describes the worry or stress people feel about the environmental dangers and sense of helplessness that can come with it. For example, if you feel eco anxiety, try focusing on small actions like reducing plastic use or planting trees to feel more empowered. It's a term that reflects how deeply we care about the planet and the emotional toll of its challenges. Next, carbon footprint. A carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide released by specific activities, such as driving a car, using energy, or running a business. For example, our office is tracking its carbon footprint to become more sustainable. Understanding your carbon footprint helps identify ways to reduce your impact and make more eco friendly choices. And now, another favorite of mine on this list today: rewilding. This one is so inspiring, so let's dive in. Rewilding refers to restoring land to its natural state to support biodiversity. This can mean reintroducing native plants and animals or removing human made barriers. For example, the city is rewilding some parks to support local wildlife. This is without a doubt an inspiring strategy for rebuilding ecosystems and protecting the planet's natural balance. As you and I know, climate and sustainability are just one part of the global challenges shaping our world. So let's explore words that reflect even bigger shifts in how we think and live. Major political and global events have introduced new words that reflect how we as a society respond to challenges like the pandemic, climate change, and social justice. So let's look at three terms that capture these shifts in how we think and live. The first, staycation. This is a vacation spent at home or locally, often to save money or reduce travel. It's become a popular option as people look for ways to recharge without the hassle of long distance trips. For example, instead of traveling, we turned our staycation into a fun week of trying new local restaurants. Staycations can definitely be just as relaxing and enjoyable as traditional vacations, and they're often more sustainable too. Next, vax. Vax is a casual way to refer to vaccines or the act of being vaccinated. It's often used in conversations about public health. For example, have you been vaxxed against the flu this season? This shortened term became widely popular during the pandemic, making it a part of everyday language about health and safety. And finally, let's explore woke. Woke means being aware of social and racial justice issues. It's often used to describe someone who is informed and active in addressing these challenges. I also want you to keep in mind that woke can sometimes be used sarcastically, so it's really important to hear the tone and the context of how it's used. This term has also sparked debates and discussions about activism, awareness, and how language evolves based on social and cultural movements. Okay, I hope you enjoyed learning some of my favorite words in this lesson today, like beige flag and rewilding. But now it's your turn. Which word did you like the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear why it stood out to you. Learning new words is definitely a journey, not a race. The goal isn't to memorize everything all at once, but to focus on what is most relevant to your life right now. So here's a quick challenge to help you take action today. Choose one word from each category that interests you the most. Write a sentence about your own life using that word or what's important to you. Practice saying it out loud to build confidence. And use it in real conversation this week, whether it's with a friend, a colleague, or in an online group. Small, consistent steps like this help you go from understanding new vocabulary to confidently using it in everyday conversations. If you'd love to take your practice even further, I invite you to join my Confident Women community. Inside, you'll find a supportive space to practice using these words in meaningful conversations with like minded women, gain real world speaking experience in a safe and encouraging environment, and get expert guidance and feedback to help you grow your English fluency and confidence. Imagine feeling ready to speak up in meetings, connect naturally with others, and express your thoughts with ease. That's exactly what the Confident Women community is designed to help you achieve. To learn more and join, you can check the link in the description below. So now here's what I want you to do. Take a minute and follow those steps I gave you. Tell me which word is your favorite from this list. Use it in an example and share your sentence with me in the comments below. I'd love to see it and give you feedback. If you found this lesson helpful to you today, I would love to know, and you can tell me in one very simple way. Give this lesson a thumbs up here on YouTube. And while you're at it, be sure to subscribe so you never miss one of my Confident English lessons. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.